In the last episode, the Florida Panthers fell short of accomplishing their goal of making it back to the Stanley Cup final. And now we get to deal with the aftermath. First and foremost, we need to see who wins the Stanley Cup between San Jose and the Sabres themselves. Although, the Springfield Thunderbirds are off to the Calder Cup final after defeating the Utica Comets. They'll be playing the Bakersfield Condors, the battle of the birds. As far as what happens with this team as we move forward, I don't know. I mean, we know that there are going to be changes to the roster, of course, as Springfield's up 2-1. Can they win a very important Game 4? No, they can't. We'll see what happens in Game 5. Who will have a chance to win it? 3 straight losses. Game 6 will slow sim it and see if the Thunderbirds can avoid disaster. But obviously, Season 1, no expectations. We make it to the Cup final, we lose. Season 2 and 3, we have expectations, and we fall short. So it's a rather frustrating time around these parts. Teddy Bluger with the goal. Not bad, but Colby Cave's goal doesn't help us. Second period, tied at 2. Sam Marukov and Matt Nieto. We're going to quick sim the third. And the Thunderbirds live to see another day. For Corkin, Marody, the former member of the Condors, and Jonathan Ong with the empty netter. We survive. There will be a 7th game for the Calder Cup final. Or for the Calder Cup, and in the Calder Cup final. Let's see what happens. Of course, some members of this team are looking like they're going to be graduating up to the NHL roster next season, and doing so off the back of a cup win would be gigantic. First period, 2-0 Birds, Bluger and Ong. Second period, and we're going to quick sim the third because the cup celebration gets cut off early, so it's not even worth watching, and it almost wasn't worth watching because it was nearly Bakersfield. John Hayden's goal to start off the third period proves to be the winner. Braberg and McLeod score too little, too late. The T-Birds are champions. Beautiful. So we have some form of success in this series as the San Jose Sharks win the Stanley Cup. Imagine winning the Stanley Cup in the first 3 seasons with the Sharks. I know I couldn't. Unbelievable. San Jose wins it. We know they beat Buffalo. They swept them, for God's sakes. That hurts. That stings. That sucks. San Jose wins the cup. Just to twist that knife one more time. Eric Holla, Jesus, Marian Hossa. John Leonard did well. Kevin LeBanc. Antoine Roussel was there. Defensively, I mean, they didn't get rid of Brendan Dillon, so how much did they sign him to? Whew. Maybe I should have signed Brendan Dillon in our series. And goaltending-wise, just kick rocks. Kick rocks with that nonsense. So far, Dallas, Buffalo, and San Jose have won the Cup. Again, defending champions in Buffalo. They almost won back-to-back. But with that roster, I still feel like we should have been able to make it to the Cup final. Patrick Kane wins the Art Ross the Hart to Gino. Keith Yandel won his 2nd straight in Norris. So lost Lady Bing. The Calder goes to Josh Norris in Ottawa. Conn Smythe to Holla. Holtby wins the Vezina and the Jennings. Not too bad. The Selke goes to Bergeron. The Ted Lindsay to Malkin. The Rocket Richard to Patrick Kane. Down in the AHL, Logan Hutsko put up the most points. The 2nd straight year that the T-Birds done that. League MVP was Evan Barrett. I think that's Jack Dugan. Scored the most goals. Top rookie, Grigory Denisenko. I think it's Nico Mikkola, top defenseman. Michael DiPietro, top goaltender, and the MVP of the playoffs, Logan Hutsko. So we'll be very intrigued to see if he can make a successful jump to the NHL level heading into this next season. So a quick look at the progress reports before we get into the draft. A very good improvement for Heponiemi. Yes, Yandel is going to start to fall. It was worth keeping him. We made it to the conference final for that reason. Some good improvement for Tippett. Really good improvement for Dryden Hunt, who's looking like he's going to be a sure thing on that third line. And then, yes, I know, Bobrovsky is the problem. Borgstrom up to an 83. Denisenko with really good improvements. He's a legit third liner now. Might even be playing on a higher line. And then in the AHL, any crazy developments? Good development for Cliff Poo. I mean, he's up to a 76. He's 24 now, though. Saron Noel up to a 76. Spencer Knight's a 75. John Ludwig improving. Good improvement for Schwint and Artukin. More so for Schwint. Really good improvement for Alos again, as he has gone up almost twice. Not twice in overall, but I mean, he's really stepped it up since we drafted him in an extremely low overall. So first and foremost, the lottery, as the New Jersey Devils win it thanks to the Calgary Flames. St. Louis moved up in a big-time way as well. Only one pick in that mix that was traded away. We get to our player retirements. Let's see how it goes down. Jason Spezza is gone. Andrew Ladd, Franz Nielsen, Blake Como, Ryan Reeves, and others. Ryan Reeves finished with under 100 career points. The defense. We see Burns, Duncan, Keith, Alex Goligoski, Dan Hamhouse, Hamhuse, Daly, Sakara, Johnny Rocket, and others. Call it a day as well. Excuse me. Zirosov Alak, Jimmy Howard, Curtis McElhaney also retire. And we're going to end up with some new staff members. Not too worried about that. As far as I know, our coaching staff is still secured. We'll see whether or not it stays that way. We might have to put some focus into that. So draft interviews. As far as where our first draft pick resides, I don't even know at this point. Very far down. Very, very far down is the answer. Abdelkader's an interesting one. And there's Bayer. Jacques is okay. I don't know if there's going to be anybody. Oh boy, never mind. Brock Kessler. Well, that solves the issue of who we're drafting early on, doesn't it? Also, Chouinard has a Marchand comparison. Let's talk to Philippe Chouinard. Play style. Let's go readiness. 4 years out, despite the Marchand comparison. That's relatively surprising. Which I guess by this game's metric would mean his aggressiveness has to be really high. Weakness is discipline, right? No, okay, the physicality is not there. Very interesting. That's a Brad Marchand comparison, and I've never seen that. Maybe it's because he's developed into a top-notch player, that being Marchand at this point. Whoo, Connolly. Okay. Well, the good thing is there's some really good players in this upcoming draft, and we're going to be able to make some things happen. Now, I should have done some renegotiations, but it's too late. It's fine. We'll make the best of it. Although we will take a quick look at the team and at the draft pick situation. We have $10 million in space. Of course, some big deals are up. We have the 29th pick and then 2 picks early on in the second round, couple of thirds, couple of fourths. So we have a lot of room to work with. None of these goalies have any value outside of Spencer Knight, who I might be a little bit concerned about, but we have to hope he develops because Bob is a problem. Defensively, some people might still be on board with, hey, get rid of Yandel. I'm personally not, because I'd rather still run with Sergachev, Yandel, Ekblad, and Matheson as our top 4. And we know Anton Strahlman's gone, and we're going to need somebody else for the third pairing. But we're staying loyal to Yandel, and then thank God Carl Alsner's contract comes off the books as well. Trocheck's deal is up. That's really going to suck. Okay, so the question is, would we want to trade up or just stick with the picks that we have? And I think the thing is, there are enough talented players lower on, later on in the draft and in the lower part of the first round that we could pick up that we don't even have to worry about it. I mean, unless any of these guys are top-notch in terms of the grades, Bernier is. But it's like, okay, we can go for Bernier. Chris Guerin and Morrison, they're also tremendous. Solovyov, Letty. I mean, yeah, there are some top-notch players there in the early 20s. But based off of who we saw in terms of overall, the only difference is the potentials, right? But we could get Kessler, no problem. We can get Scott Connolly, no problem. We can get Gordon Wyman, no problem. Even Xavier Lowe and Tyler Park aren't that bad. So yeah, I think we can get some top-notch players in this draft without having to trade up, which I think is the better way to go. We need more assets, more solid players in the system, rather than one, maybe two top-notch talents, if that makes sense. So we're going to go ahead and sim to the 29th overall pick, and we'll see who is off the board. Gill was decent, Robitaille, Holden. We're about to get to some of these other players. So Morrison was really good. Bernier was really good. No real surprise there. Solovyov's a beast. Jesus, and again, that's because of all the real-world players that we've added in. McDermott goes 12th. Udes, like. So this game had no issue with still generating. Like, Pare going that high, though, is shocking. So this still had no issue. Danielson goes second. Had no issues in terms of developing top-notch talent, even with the real-world additions. So no doubt about it. We're going to be looking at Kessler here with this pick. 56 points in 63 games as a 17-year-old defenseman. He's NHL ready. Let's do it. I mean, our scout rank has him at 37, but yeah, there's no doubt. We are taking Brock Kessler, who is a 78 overall. Very happy with that. Now, as far as who we were targeting next, they should still be on the board by the time our next pick comes around. So we'll sim to the next round. We'll see who went at the end. Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. We're going to be able to get exactly who we want here, as it was Bayer and Mercier who went off the board. So we're shockingly going to be making these picks. No reason to trade up to get those other guys either. Again, we're going to end up with Connolly here and probably Wyman. And then from there, if we end up with Lowe or Park, so be it. Just making sure. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of players we've scrolled past here. There's also Wallin, who's a gem of a goalie in the second round, which is a very good sign. So yeah, we could do some damage here. There was no reason to trade up. Let's get a bunch of prospects in, because we've already graduated quite a few of ours. We are going to be taking Scott Connolly, the 18-year-old Hungarian 6'4" defenseman, with a Vlasic comparison. And 78 medium top four. So two very good defensemen have been added into the mix, which I would say is huge for us. Seeing, Vancouver. No way. Fuck. I played it too risky. We could have had three very good defensemen, but that's my fault. That's my fault. I shouldn't have risked it. Should not have risked it. We're going to go for Xavier Lowe here, I think. Yeah, let's go for Xavier Lowe. Character issues aside, let's bring a forward into the mix. Low Elite 66. I'll take it. So, if I played it safe, we would have ended up with Wyman. I'm kind of mad that we didn't, but we do add two really good defensemen into the mix and a decent forward as well. Hopefully we can find another forward or two. But defensively, you know, when you talk about this defense, the addition of Connolly and Kessler now with Carpenter there's going to be a little bit of a battle from these defensemen to take the spots away, or to fill the spot that Strawman's already leaving behind, and then to eventually fill the spot that Dahlstrom's going to be leaving behind, and Keith Yandel, who's now 35 years old. But again, he's such a key player, and depending on what we do goaltending-wise, we could be okay, but that's always a pretty big if. So looking here, god damn it, that's 78. I'm going to be regretting that for a while. I think I might want to trade up to get Tyler Park here. Rivera's physical as hell. Almost confirmed to be 2 years out. AJ Cooperman, 3 years out, but with a Messier comparison, I guess because of the leadership, which is insane. Claremont at least has a good potential, but he's 3 years out. Then there's Lawrence, 3 years out. 3 years out with the Blake comparison for Vallette. Again, these comparisons don't always work out. And then there's Wallin. So when is our next pick after this? 69th. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Oh, this is a tough call. It's a tough call as to whether or not we trade up. I don't think I'm going to. Nashville took Fane. The Islanders take Park. He was a 64 low elite. It's not really that surprising. The question now is, out of this group, no one has the rating necessarily. Someone here is going to be really good. Claremont's the only guarantee. And then there's Vallette, who could also be decent. 3 defensemen. Let's see what happens. The Rangers take Rivera. He's a 70. Nashville takes Cooperman. Yeah, we're trading up. We're getting the other 2. If those 2 were both as good as they were, we are trading up. If I can. Value-wise, it's actually going to be a struggle because we want that. I think I want that damn goalie. Because just the value that decent goalies still have, I have to let these guys go. I have to let these guys go. We're just not going to have the value to move up. Damn it. 64 for Lawrence. Vallette was also a 64. Yoshida at a 63. When was this goalie projected to go? Not for a while. Okay, that's kind of a lie. So let's see. We send this pick for Detroit. Claremont's only a 64, so some decent potential players. It's just we made that one mistake because the Canucks decided to make a move. And actually wisely take the best player available by a very large margin. As Wallin, okay, now's the time. Detroit. This should be a little bit easier to get. It's a little bit further down into the second round. This should be a little bit easier. Is a 3rd and a 5th enough? No, it is not. We'll try to use the 5ths. We might have to use the 4ths. We'll do what we can do. Sweeten it just a touch. I'll just add another 5th in to save time rather than a 6th, let's be honest. Will that go through? Yes, it will. Thank you very much, Detroit. Hopefully, you just handed us another solid goalie in Philip Wallin. He's a little bit undersized. The save percentage isn't good, but I'm going to trust in that gem status. Wallin is only a starter. That kind of sucks. He's not bad, but he's only a starter. No confirmed potentials here. Nobody else with crazy overalls. Fedberg could be okay. There are a bunch of players here that could be decent, but nobody where we know for sure. Obviously, there's a lot of unconfirmed elites. Potential high elite in Downing, but he's 20. And then Percy as well. I am not a big fan of what we're seeing here. Gotta be honest. Right now, all I see is a lot of hello, A+ puck skills for Hedin. I was gonna say right now I see a lot of low, maybe low risk, high reward, but in a way, I don't think the reward's that high because so many of these players all showing up being this good. It just shows that our scouting department was hot garbage this season. And that, what are the odds that all of these players are actually good? Very, very slim. So out of the pin players here, we have these 3. Next up that I'd care about is Hedin in the early 80s. So let's see who is there. And when we have... Okay. Damn it. I'd have to trade up into the 3rd round again. So our next pick is 91st in the 3rd round. That pick is right here. So let's go right about here. I'll go with St. Louis. I'll go with St. Louis. Try to play it safe. It's 73rd. I know I was way ahead, but hey, guess what? After what just happened with the Canucks, I'm not taking a chance again. I'm going to make sure I get who the hell I want. especially after we lost out on a player of that caliber. Will that go through? Yes, it will. Thank you, St. Louis. And let's go get this next player. So all in all, Kessler, Connolly, and Lowe. Very happy with that. We got a starter goalie into the system. Could be worse. We are going to take Fredrik Hedin, the 19-year-old Swede. How good are you? That, again, is rather disappointing. So the pin player list, we have 2 guys. One's projected about 113. Still going to go for them. Might as well. I don't have too many high hopes, though. So we have the 105th pick. So I can get rid of that. I can just take him early and then trade away a 4th rounder. So let's sim ahead. Pick number 100. And we are going to be going with the goaltender, another goaltender, Solomon Iverson. I don't feel good about that at all. I really don't. Pipe, I don't feel good about those picks. I really don't. Let's just cash out. Let's just cash out, especially like the age of some of them. No, we'll get some draft picks for next year. See what we can get from Boston here. Actually, that should go through. Yeah, I thought I could add more to it. I decided not to, and I probably should have. So all in all, a relatively successful draft. You could make the argument maybe I should have traded up, but Kessler, Conley, Lowe still make this a pretty solid draft. You could also, of course, make the argument that I should have been a little bit more aggressive, but there were so many of those players where I just could not have confidence that they were going to be decent. And it's just the way the draft works this year. There are fewer steals in general. So in terms of expiring deals, I don't know about Francouz and Bednard yet. As it is, I think we'll be letting go of Francouz because Connor Ingram's still signed. So Francouz is probably gone. Bednard's probably gone because Spencer Knight's going to be the starter. So we'll be completely reworking the AHL goaltending. And then Anton Strawman's gone. Carl Dahlstrom actually doesn't want to re-sign, which is kind of surprising because he was so good for us when he actually played. How much money is he looking for? It's not that bad. Carrick, McDermott, Petrovic, you're all going to go. Alos is going to have to be signed. Dahlstrom was good for us, but we can let him go. If he doesn't want to re-sign, whatever. Vinny Trocheck. Did he want to re-sign? Yes, he does. Let's bring up yield calculator. I don't think the 85 is going to work because he's not an RFA, but we're going to try. So I'd be able to bring that down to 7. Basically 7 million. We're going to try 7.5 to get a discount. And if Trocheck signs for that, we're laughing. Hayden, Furk, and Nason are all gone. Nieto. Sorella, I'm going to try to offer sheet. Maybe. Maybe not, because he's not a fit on the 4th line. But it's tough to say that he wouldn't be able to potentially do some damage on the 3rd line. I don't know about him yet. I don't know about Vetrano, because Frankie's struggled a little bit. He hasn't been bad. I guess you could make the argument of bring back Vetrano. Let Sorella walk. McGinn and Peary are definitely going again. Brock McGinn was just a random signing for this season. He obviously didn't do much for us, so I'm good with letting him go. And then center-wise, Sasha Barkov. He wanted to re-sign, right? Thank God. 7-year deal. Ooh, boy. It's a good thing we got nearly $30 million to spend, isn't it? So 85% would bring that down to 9.5. We're going to go 10 million even and see if he accepts that. And if he does, we're in a very good spot. Dryden Hunt is definitely coming back. Holy shit, does he want to get paid, though? Whew. Unless I give him a little bit of term. How about 2 years? I don't think he's going to go for this. This is about to be a very weird spot. 2 years, $3 million. So basically exactly... Well, actually, no, shit. That's right. I did the math incorrectly. I was factoring into what he was asking for that first season. It'd be 2.5. I'm going to go 2.8 for 2. Noel Achari still fits in well on the 4th line in theory. Oh, God. I think Noel might have to go. That is a bit too much for a fourth liner. 2.2. He's been so good for us. So good. I don't know if I want to pay a fourth liner 2.2 for the season. And obviously, like, Marody's probably... Cooper Marody we could bring back. What's he looking for? Oh, yeah, he's looking for nothing. No, that's... Yeah, no, we'll do that for sure. We will do that for sure. He'll just be an AHL staple for us. That's a great deal. Prokhorkin and Bluger can go. So it's pretty much, what are we going to do with Sarela, Vetrano, and Achari? I think those are the ones that we have to worry about. I don't know what the answer is. Carl Dahlstrom we're going to let go. We can find someone else to fill the third pairing spot. John Hayden I don't think was bad in the AHL, but he's probably going to be looking for an NHL spot. Shockingly, no. You know, under those circumstances, then, yeah, let's just sign John Hayden, and he can be a AHL ringer for us for the next few years. That works for me. Nieto's going to want way too much. Oh my god. Really? Alright, no, cool. Yep, I'll sign Matt Nieto to nothing. He still is as the depth forward, so that's gotta be morale. What? Okay, so Brock McGinn does want to play on the fourth line. I can't guarantee him that. So Vetrano, Sarela, Achari. If we look at our forwards, right? So right now, obviously, we have Barkov, Huberdeau, Haponiemi, Tippett, Trocheck, Borgstrom, Connolly, Hunt, Denisenko, and then, yeah, I think Sarela's got to go. As it is, I don't know how we're going to fit in Hutsko. I think Vetrano's gone, too. We just have way too many players already. Yeah, Frankie's got to go. And I think we'll try to get something for Sarela. Yeah, that's how that's going to work. So, hate to see it, but we knew it was coming. There are going to be changes to this team, and some longtime members are going to have to be out the door, unfortunately. So Nieto re-signed that stupid deal. Trocheck signed, Hunt, Sasha Barkov, John Hayden, Cooper Marody. Perfect. Saving a ton of money there. Very, very good. We have $12 million left. So goalie-wise, Francouz is gone. Bednard is gone. Spencer Knight will be signing his ELC. Alex Nedeljkovic is going to go for now. Defensively, although, Bob, what would this buyout look like? Oh my god, there's no way. 3.3 basically for the next 8 years. We are stuck with Sergei Bobrovsky, guys. I'm sorry. We're just stuck with them. Defensively, we know Anton Strahlman's going. Even though he wants to sign for cheap, there's a chance he's going to regress even harder. Strahlman's gone. Carl Dahlstrom, by popular request, is gone. Or not by popular request, by his request, is gone. We will see about signing Connolly and Kessler. Actually, we're going to sign both of them because neither played in junior. So we're going to sign both of them, and they'll either be playing... It's a risk, again, I know, and it's the same thing with Carpenter. We could argue my strat didn't work out. We're still going to sign both of them right now, though. McDermott is going to go. Petrovich is going to go. Alos needs to sign his ELC, and, of course, Carl Alsner is on the way out. On that right-hand side, Ferk and Nason are going to go. Left-hand side, Sarela will be qualified. Vetrano's gone. McGinn's gone. Peary is out. And at center, I think Nolachari's got to go. Prokhorkin, Bluger, they're definitely gone. I think Nolachari has to go. That's just too much to pay a fourth liner, even though we have the cap space. Maybe. We'll advance a day. Let's see what happens. So, Connolly signs, Kessler signs, Knight signs, Alos. So if we look at this team, defense, I mean, we can pretty much see on the third pairing out of who we have out of those top 4 right there, who the hell wants to make this team. But you got to keep in mind we have a Sergachev deal coming up, and then Yandel's deal is up at the end of next year. That Sergachev deal could be expensive. Forward-wise, it's Barkov, Huberdeau, Heponiemi, Tippett, Trocheck, Connolly, Borgstrom, Hunt, and Denisenko. There's already no spots for Hutsko. Howard's going to be on the 4th line. Hayden, Marody, Jonathan Ong could make the 4th line. He's a really weird player in terms of his attributes. Saron Noel might make the 4th line. There's Pooh and Wedman. The thing is, in terms of big free agent signings, there's no space. There isn't any space. The top 6 is already set. Barkov, Huberdeau, Heponiemi, Tippett, Trocheck, Borgstrom. Third line is going to be Connolly, Hunt, and probably Denisenko, although you could argue he should be in the top 6 too. So maybe as it is, we already have to make a move, which is kind of a tough call. So there's no space for Sorella on the third line. There just isn't. I mean, I guess the only way that there would be is if we committed to moving Connolly. But as it is, Connolly, again, he's going to be on the third line with Hunt. I mean, what are we going to do? Have Connolly, Hunt, Sorella? That might not be the worst option. And again, we already know Vetrano's gone. I'd rather keep Sorella, and I don't even know how much Frankie's looking for. Not much. Hutsko. Actually, then again, we have Howard too. Hutsko could be a third liner. Hutsko could actually be a pretty damn good third liner. And then Howard is a 4th liner. Alongside, it could be Howard, Achari, and Noel. I think we're going to keep Noel Achari. He might even end up being a healthy scratch, but I'm going to overspend to try and keep him for the year because he's been so damn good for us. Perfect. So Noel's back. But I think as far as everybody else, Sorella will try to... does it make sense to keep Sorella? Vetrano's definitely gone. McGinn's definitely gone. Just doesn't make sense to try and keep Sorella. So it's Barkov, Huberdeau, Heponiemi, Tippett, Trocheck, Borgstrom. You could argue somebody out of that needs to go anyway, although where we'd bring in the help, I don't know. Borgstrom could be a third liner, but when you look at that playmaking category, why would we do that? I don't think we could keep Vinny happy on the third line, although that would be amazing. So then again, third line is Connolly, Hunt, Denisenko. I just don't see how we keep Sorella. This is tough. So for sure, top 6 with these top 4. Borgstrom's going to be there. We'll say Denisenko's there. Third line of Trocheck, Hunt. We get rid of Connolly. That leaves room for Sorella or Hutsko. And I'd probably rather try to get something for Sorella and give Hutsko a chance. And then fourth line of Howard Kachari. Okay, I don't think Sorella has a spot. I would rather give it to Logan Hutsko off of the phenomenal postseason that he had. So Frankie Vetrano is definitely gone, as much as I hate to see that happen. But he's definitely out. And we're going to move on and see what the hell this team looks like. So just really quickly here, if we go to proposed trade, the good thing is our coaching staff and scouting staff is on point. We have to sign 2 AHL goalies. We could even sign 3 goalies, but yeah, actually we could sign 3 goalies. A potential backup, and then 2 goalies below a 75 so that Spencer Knight does not get eclipsed. Normally I carry 5 goalies. I'm not against carrying 6. Evgeny Malkin, Barrett Hayton's an RFA. Johnny Goodrow is a free agent as well. Let's see what we have here in terms of potential. Packard. Brent Packard. We might as well throw in an offer for this guy. Vancouver also going for him. And we have Tarasov, Swayman. Wow, there are actually 2 decent goalies there. We're going to go for Jeremy Swayman. And he could be the healthy scratch at the NHL level. He and Ingram can battle it out. So then I need one other goalie below a 75. And that, poor Elvis, that could be, we'll bring back Nedeljkovic, and that might bring a chemistry boost if we sign him. So that's our goaltending, hopefully taken care of, as long as everybody signs. Defensively, now we still have money to spend, of course, nearly $11 million. So that's nice, but again, I think our top four is settled, and then we have three younger guys who can really push for that final spot. So we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to need just like one depth defenseman or two below a 72 to make sure that Alos gets to play. So that's nothing. The defense is pretty much set. This team in general is pretty much set up. Again, we've been making sure to kind of think ahead and plan ahead as far as making sure that we're not just doing all these moves on the fly. We're trying to stick to a game plan. So far, so good. So let's look for a two-way deal. And let's look for, I guess, just a veteran who's below a 72. Yeah, here, let's just sign a random veteran. It's easier to go that way. Wilson, Carl Stellari, Bobby Sanguinetti, O'Neill, Matt Bartkowski, Ben Blood, Yannick Weber, Thomas Hickey. Not quite below a 72, though. That sucks. Matt Mangine, Carl Alsner, DJ Brennan. You know what? I'm giving Carl Alsner more money as a professional hockey player. There you go, Carl. Congratulations. So then forward-wise, which again is still just going to be weird. Trocheck might be a third liner, and that might not be the right move. But right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, 10, 11, 12. So in the AHL, we'll say Nieto is there. Maradi is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, we got to sign like a handful of forwards. And then aside from that, we're good to go. So let's see who the top options are that are out there that we can bring in to help fill out this team forward-wise. Unfortunately, well, low sixes. That sucks. I was going to say, we don't seem to have anybody, and we don't. None of these top free agents make any sense for us right now. So we are looking at bringing in Arturi Lehkonen on a stupidly cheap contract. I mean, Jesus. Like, that's not even fair that I could just sign him to that, and then, again, he could just stay in the AHL and dominate for the next few years. That's not fair. But we'll go ahead, try to sign him to that deal. I know he's not looking for that much money, but that's just to try and make sure that he signs with us. Sam Lafferty is also in a depth role. Carson Kuhlman, try to sign him up. Trennan I'm going to pass on. Jordan Wheel, look to bring him in for the year. And let's go for Evan Rodriguez. Bring him in as well. So with that, I think we're good. Now it's just a matter of who the hell signs, but the continued plan of building from within, that's continuing to be the strategy. Now, Packard rejected, which is fine. Kuhlman signs, Rodriguez, Wheel, Lehkonen, Lafferty, Nedeljkovic, Alsner, Swayman. Perfect. Matt Murray is traded from Detroit to Columbus for Nudevar and a third, so Matt Murray bouncing around. Big deal for Juuso Valimaki. He goes to Colorado. And we're going to be getting a third-round pick for Alexi Sorela. 2 years at 1.7. We will take the compensation. So, Alexi, I really wanted to try and get this to work out here. It just wasn't going to happen. Pekka Rinne is now a Ranger alongside Philip Johansson for Sven Berchke. That's insane. Absolutely insane. But with certain development of certain players, continuing to rely on building within. I mean, especially for that forward core, we really haven't... How the hell did Ben Hutton go for a first? We really haven't made that many crazy trades. Speaking of crazy trades, one of the guys we didn't trade up to get, and a goalie, I think that's Becca Warm, and a first for Sam Steele to Chicago. So there you go, Hawks fans. That's a gigantic victory for you. Holy hell, another top center going from Columbus to Nashville. This time it's PLD for Philip Forsberg, Colby Sissons, and Lawrence Pilot. My God, some of these trades. Absolutely insane. Let's see what we're dealing with next. Hopefully we're just where we want to be at the beginning of this next season. There we go. So we might have a couple of moves to make. There's going to be another goalie I want to sign. We are still listed as champions. We actually have 45 contracts. Hedin is going to be signed, and we're going to play him in the AHL. He's 20 years old, but we'll probably play him in the AHL and see what he can do. So looking at the rosters here, let's do this goalie-wise. I think it's going to be Bobrovsky, Ingram. Oh my God, Spencer Knight jumped to a 79. So we have a decision to make. Do we play Spencer Knight in the AHL and let him be the starter, or do we just throw him to the Wolves and have him be a professional hockey goalie? But right now, otherwise, it'd be Knight and Nedeljkovic. I'm going to sign somebody else random, and it would be Bobrovsky, Ingram, and Swayman. And in that way, in case of injury, we can make changes. Defensively, it's Sergachev, Yandel, who's still a 90, Ekblad, Matheson, Carpenter, and, maybe we give Riley Stillman a chance rather than Connolly. And we start Connolly and Kessler in the minors. And then it's Guildenstrand, Ludwig, Alos. So probably call up one other dude, and then Alsner's the healthy scratch. So I think Max Gilden, is he going to benefit much from playing regularly? He could. Austin Strand, I think, is going to be the NHL healthy scratch for this season. So right now I have a lot of forwards. And then, speaking of the forwards, who do we have here? This is going to be rough to balance. Nieto, Lehkonen, Lafferty. You guys can go down. So then goalie-wise, again, I'm going to leave that up to you guys. What do you think? What do we do with Spencer Knight? Defensively, I think Riley Stillman should get an opportunity. Oh my God, menu lag, please. So in the AHL is going to be Conley Kessler, Gilden Ludwig, Alos Artukin. I'll sign someone below a 72 for that extra bit of depth. And then forward-wise, we need to call up Achari. What's Jonathan Ong looking like? Still a minor league scoring forward. What's Saron Noel looking like? I think we could give Saron Noel an opportunity. So it's Barkov, Huberdeau, Heponiemi, Trocheck, Tippett, Borgstrom, Connolly, Hunt. I think Connolly might have to go. I think this is the time to try and trade Brett Connolly. Because it's Barkov, Huberdeau, Heponiemi. We'll say Tippett, Borgstrom, Denisenko, Trocheck, Hunt, Hutsko, Hawryluk, Achari, Noel. I think is how I want the forwards to be. So just a quick look at what I'm visualizing here. I think Brett Connolly is the odd man out. So if we go best lines here, I don't know if I can get away with Trocheck being a third liner. Heponiemi is now a legitimate first liner. But the thought is with Denisenko and those attributes, he should be probably on that young second line alongside Tippett. And then we go with Hunt, Trocheck, Hutsko for that third line, which is also insane. And again, Noel, Achari, Hawryluk. I really like the looks of that team. I don't see how we possibly keep Brett Connolly. Dryden Hunt has to stay. The only way we keep Brett Connolly is if we decide to start Logan Hutsko down in the AHL because he's listed as depth forward. But this is the make or break time for him. He's 23. If we play him on that third line in the NHL this season, he could take that next step forward. There is the argument of we'll just play him on the fourth line because then he's still playing above his listed role. Maybe you're right, but do we also not want to give Saron Noel an opportunity here? So the only way we keep Brett Connolly is if Hutsko plays on the fourth line with Achari and Hawryluk, and Connolly would be on the third line with Hunt and Trocheck. So we have to decide how much we want to emphasize Hutsko and Noel's potential developments and is keeping Brett Connolly on the team worth sending one of those guys to the fourth line and the other down to the AHL? Defensively, we're going to need to do... Carpenter is not a good fit for that third pairing. Nor is Stillman. I don't know what I want to do with that information then. What do we do in that situation? We might need to make a change or several in the AHL. And then again, Matt Nieto could be the healthy scratch, and probably will be, because what the hell, somehow we can keep him happy on this team. But I think Brett Connolly has to go. It's the last year of his contract anyway. He's 30 years old. If we really wanted to, we could hold Brett Connolly hostage and have him be the healthy scratch. Maybe we just hold on to him, see how this team works, and then if it's not working out, okay, well then Brett Connolly's here. So that's a hell of a fallback plan. Goaltending-wise, it's just what are we doing with Spencer Knight? Defensively, we have a couple of things to work out, mainly with that third pairing. But at the end of the day, it's the third pairing. So if Riley Stillman isn't the guy, maybe we do give Connolly the opportunity. I mean, we can see how he fits in rather than Riley Stillman, although we could make Riley Stillman the healthy scratch from that point and send down Strand. So if we go best Lions here, Connolly's not a good fit either. So we might have to go out and make a change. It's a damn shame they don't fit in well at all on that third line or on that third pair. Like Matheson, Ekblad really fits in. But obviously we're not playing Ekblad on that third pairing. So we do have some decisions to make. Obviously, what is the future of Brett Connolly on this team? What do we do with that third pair defensively? Because obviously now we have some players to move. We have some assets that could be flipped. I don't think the answer is changing the coaching staff, because this guy is our head coach. He's going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. So, you know, some changes got to be made. We actually don't have an NHL goalie coach. I'll have to fix that up as well. So let me know what you think down in those wonderful, beautiful comments. One way or another, though, this team is set up to compete yet again. And that's not really all that surprising. We're in a pretty damn good cap situation moving forward. We've handled all of those contracts well to the point where Sasha Barkov, you know, that contract wasn't a concern. But next year, we're going to get hit. And we're going to get hit very hard. Huberdeau, Sergachev, Yandel if we try to keep him, Heponiemi, Owen Tippett. I mean, we're going to have to work out some of these contracts. Borgstrom's deal is going to be up. We have $35 million to work with right now. But when you look at deals heading into next season, you know, that Matheson contract is still going to hurt. But obviously someone like Connolly, you know, his deal is going to be off the books. So a lot's going to continue to change with this team. But the important thing is, year in and year out, we're staying competitive. So I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed. You know the deal. Drop a like. Check out everything in the description. Shout out to my patrons on Patreon. And I will see you in the next one. Season 4 begins. But just what exactly will this roster look like?